No more over there eating shit. This is what I I'll turn the machine off. Come on.
The head of that tree is kind of big. That's an old one for sure. Look at the channels on that thing up the top. Up here. Up here. There's.
Oh, wow.
Yep. It's really old. On that panel is adjustments for the picture. Like the old style. This is old Emerson. I'd say early 80s, more than likely. Made in Taiwan. Yeah, it's not even made in China, so there you go.
Here's my long fucking. I was looking for this. It feels like this, but yeah, feel this and see if it feels like it's in there.
It's in there with it. I think that was too small. I think. Feel like it's not a.
Like it's dragging.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Okay, this one's too big. That one's too small.
Yeah, it needs to be a little bit bigger. The tip's not big enough for that. Too thin a tip. That'd probably work if it'll fit in there. It's a long freaking.
Dirt on it.
Yeah, that might help too. I know there's quite a bit of dirt in there.
That just came off.
That's all right. Look at that thing. Look at that.
Hmm?
That's the adjustments.
Yeah.
That is old stuff, man.
No shit. Look at that.
Yeah. I was gonna try to plug it in, then I opened that part out, and I said, "Yeah, this ain't gonna work." Pretty sure this one's not gonna work.
Okay. Well, can it be that?
Yeah, I always try to test TVs and just to see. Half the time, these the big tube sets still work. People just get rid of them because they buy flat screens and they're much more convenient. And they get rid of the tube sets because they're heavy and bulky and awkward, and everybody wants the new stuff. And I got that this big plasma right here.
But that's not the look.
Oh, that's an adjustment thing. Yeah, that's not even.
Well, see, this should be the right size.
See, that's his focus.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not a screw. Probably not going to work too well.
Never mind. Yeah, see, this is bringing taking these out, so it should take those out. That's just so fucking.
It's the top two ones are, yeah, that's need a longer blade is all. To get a longer blade. That's what it looks like when it gets inside here. And so hopefully I have a longer blade screwdriver that will fit in that thing. That one's too short. Needs to be Phillips, not standard. All standard. What's over here? Maybe. I haven't been in here in a minute because last winter I forgot I just put this together last winter, so forgot that I got it. They're all the same size. That one's a bit longer, but the head's too big. Too big of a head. Oh man. Okay. These are all just no heads, just for putting tips in. Yeah. All these are for putting tips into. I got a lot of those. This is all from yard sale stuff, you know. You come across tools and I try you know, they're hard to give up tools when you get a good one. So you kind of hold on to them. I have like tools for everything for the most part, but except for what I need, of course. That's how that always goes.
Just top the top off. That board, wait a minute. This is not heavy into the board. Oh.
Got the yoke, not a bad yoke. Got the speaker. Board's got a good sized piece of aluminum here, right there.
Yeah.
And that's not aluminum, so it's good heat sink. Another piece of aluminum down there. Decent size yoke here, I guess. They're in the last one that we did. These big old TVs here, these monitors, that's this size ones, these here, and this was in there. The yoke was tiny inside that thing, which is really odd. This is the Dell. That's a Dell computer yoke right there. It's pretty decent size. This one here, these are the ones that were inside those monitors. So, at least they're not coated copper, so that's one good thing. They're not coated, so you get better money on it. It's considered clean copper, number one. So this aluminum on this board. This is like I said, that's a Dell monitor, the big ones, the old big ones. You know, like you know, this style of one, that kind of deal. They don't make that kind no more, so probably worked. I didn't even try to test it either, but I mean, I don't need a big old ass monitor like that. I have enough screens. Definitely enough screens. Kind of componentized. There's a color. Yeah, it's definitely just fried right there for sure. That's probably what it is. That is that right there is the gun, the electrode gun. That thing. That's what makes all your colors right there. So that thing is fried. That's probably why it went out. So that's what's like. Oops, like that right underneath that gun. So that's probably why this thing was strapped in the begin with. Look at that transformer. That thing is freaking. That is the weirdest. That transformer is sideways and old as hell. See that thing? That is an old transformer, boy. Because it's sideways like that. You know, that is definitely old. That's because modern transformers are like this. That's not a transformer you see in microwaves and everything else. That's a microwave one right here, and it's good, you know, good size one. If you can take these apart and get that copper out of there, it's great. But you can also take them to the scrapyard just as is, and you'll get a weight for them. You don't get the clean copper price. You can just get they have a set price or whatever it is, 10 cents a pound or something like that. You know, if you have a lot of those things, microwaves or something, though, you know, it's something. Because you can take those things apart. Some people do it. They cut them apart with angle grinders and stuff like that, and it's a chore though. I'm not trying to do that. Me and angle grinders are not best friends. That transformer right there is crazy. That's really, really old. Yeah, I'd say the CD here is probably from the 80s. I'm gonna have to look it up get the number and look it up just out of curiosity. But judging by the parts inside of it, I'd say it's early 80s. That's pretty heavy. And then they see that in there, the copper, you kind of see it inside the thing. This looks like it's copper paper. This is not wire. That's where they made it cheaply. So they use copper paper. It's a coated paper that's kind of like a flat copper piece in there instead of wire. That's what it looks like. That might actually be easier to take off though. Because sometimes the copper and the wiring around these things like that one I showed you a minute before, this one here, it's really difficult to get those things apart. And you know, it is worth it if you get them apart, but that's a good heavy chunk of copper inside there. Some of them have aluminum and copper because they're 2 rolls usually, and they want to be aluminum. So sometimes they have both copper on the transformers, but mostly it's going to be 1 aluminum, 1 copper. It's like with all these kind of wires now in any modern devices, these kind of wires, and all this kind of stuff, like in modern TV, most of it's all aluminum now. They cut back on the copper on anything they can at this point. So anything they can use, so it's a twofold. It doesn't last as long, and it saves them money. So, for people when they want you to buy a new TV every couple of years, it works out good for them because that aluminum is conductive, yes, but the lifespan of it is not nearly what copper is. And you'll see more and more of this aluminum in devices, and it's planned obsolescence more or less, and that's where they do things. They're saving money, and they get to sell you it again a couple years later because their wires wear out, and they have tons of it. But some wires, like the plug wires, mainly still are they make those of copper because aluminum is brittle and so if they put it in the power supplies, it would because it just plugs and unplugs so much, the power supply cords would go out really easily. So they still use copper on those for the most part. You find a few that, like I took the blue connector cable for the computer. This one here, this kind of thing. This comes from the back of that Dell monitor, and it just goes right in the monitor. So I cut this piece off to get the wire. But this wire, that's all aluminum in there. It's all aluminum wire. So that's a power supply connector, but they've got to go to the wall. It goes to the tower, so it's not carrying kind of much of a load as the power supply would. So we always got this yoke off here. There's always when you go to the yoke, there's always these little metal rings. There's usually a couple of those on here, and a lot of times the yoke will also be glued or stuck to the picture tube as well. Just loosen these things up and you generally get them off pretty easily, depending on how much glue they decide to use and that kind of a thing. That yoke now should be, yeah, there it goes. That one came off pretty easily. You just twist it off of there, and that's your yoke. And cut the wires to that, and then you take that and you just bust it apart with a hammer and you get the copper off of here. Little cone copper. Sometimes because this is iron ferrite in here. That's right there, the black. That's iron ferrite. It's really brittle stuff, so you hit that with a hammer, and it all breaks out. Then you just gotta get it out of the copper wiring, And now I usually keep the iron ferrite. I throw it into a bucket. I don't know why, but it's just one of the things I do. I don't even know if it's worth anything or not. I mean, I figure it's iron. I'll throw it in with my scrap metal when I go take it in. I mean, whatever. If you get a couple bucks for it, then hey. And it's heavy too. I got a whole bucket full of iron, that ferrite, and this stuff is really heavy. They use it in a lot of things too. Like you'll find it in just for example, that computer cord I just showed you. That plug, where'd it go? That's not on that one. Well, you know that you'll be familiar with on plugs. Sometimes they have a large, like a little round bead on the, a round bell-looking thing on the power cord. A lot of times, on different power cords have it. That inside that plastic thing is iron ferrite. Here it is. I can see it now. Come here. It's a dampening field, I guess, that for the electrical thing. It causes it to not have static, or causes frequency in the line. You don't get I can't remember the word for it, but that right there, that's the iron ferrite inside that plastic thing, and it keeps down the I'll think of the armored. It's like not static, but interference from the electricity going into your like a computer. Certain devices that are a little sensitive, they put those on there. That's what they're for. It dampens down the fluctuation of the electricity. So I was told. So we've got this one pretty much. Now you're just looking at taking the components off it, whatever's worth something. Like these guns right here, they have copper in them, but to open these things, they're worse than taking a transformer apart. They're beasts, and the amount of copper is not worth it. Then it's that copper. And these, being as old as the TV is, I'm sure that all the wires in here, except for this one, this one that comes off your gun here, that's not got any metal in it. It's like a hollow tube. Well, there's like a very small piece, but it's not worth anything. And but since this is so old, I'm gonna guess that all this wires is probably copper, so that's a good thing. The older stuff is like that. And I see some. What else we got here? Of course, we got this sink that'll come off of there, and some of these chips, like this kind of style chip right here, those kind. You can incinerate those, and there's gold in those. The old big caterpillar looking ones. Yeah, those are pretty. They got gold in them. You just gotta burn them up, and then there's a process for it. You can find it on YouTube. People do that. I haven't done that yet, but I have a lot of chips to do it. But that might be my next project. I still gotta do all my gold boards to get the gold off of them. And yeah, I got distracted and stuff, so gotta start all over on that. But yeah, we're working on this engine here too. That's we get that electric motor off there for scrapping, but it's got a cam. I took the cam or the piston off of it. I got a camshaft off of it now, and it's still got oil in it and everything. You know. And then of course, the whole thing is aluminum, so that'll be a big chunk of cast aluminum to take in. You know, right now, because of the economy, you know, the price of stuff is pretty decent. I just went in with pretty much a small load, just stuff I had taken apart. Some radiators and a bucket full of dirty copper, and a bucket full of all these the things off of the yokes off the TVs. A bucket full of those, and what else I have? Oh, there comes some compressors off the refrigerators. These guys here. Those compressors. Those are weighed by the pound thing, you know, and they make 8 cents a pound or something, you know. But I had 6 of those, and I had like 10 radiators, and anyway, I got $100 for just not very much stuff really, and that's pretty good for just for nothing. But you know, it's the economy, because of our wonderful economist in chief in there has done great jobs. This is one thing you can say about it, is he's made the scrap business go up a lot. When you crash the economy, that's kind of what happens. And like, if anybody remembers 2008, scrap prices, aluminum was $1 a pound. Right now it's 75 cents. So it tells you all you need to know about our economy. Because normal prices, when everything's running right, aluminum is about 25 cents a pound, 25 to 35 cents depending, but that's average. But right now it's 75 cents, and that's, you know, then 2008 they got to $1 a pound. People were, you know, selling their cans. We had a guy come out here to where I'm at, and he just literally filled up the back of his van with these cans, and he was going to go to another state and sell them there, because they have a different thing. They go by the pound in this other state, and so these entrepreneurs were taking advantage of that, and yeah. So, and he paid me like $100 for all the cans I had at the time, which was a lot of cans, because he was going to make even more off of them. At $1 a pound, you know, you're going to go, that's all a good deal. So, and that didn't last for too long, but once the economy started to come back, then the first thing that starts dropping is the price of scrap metals. But right now, the price of scrap metals is getting up there. Not historic highs, but definitely going up, and it helps me out a lot, because I can take less in and get more. But, you know, I didn't even want to take this in. I just had to, because everything came due at a certain point at the same time, and you know, that's the way it goes. But I'm trying to stock up on my the certain metals and stuff, because you never know, they're going to be in demand. You know, some people invest in gold and silver and whatnot. You know, copper is valuable too. Yeah, definitely, copper, silver, copper, and other base metals that are just, you know, electronic components. There's one component called tantalum that you find in the newer computers and stuff like that. And it's worth more than gold. If you get enough of the tantalum circuits, they're like a little resistor. They're a resistor type thing that replaces a whole bunch of resistors in a computer circuit board. And you can look that up on thing. The price is per pound or whatever, per ounce or whatever. It's about more valuable than gold, because of what it does. So you save up a bunch of those. You know what to look for on your circuit boards. And you know, it has good money there, and I have quite a bit saved up, so I'm putting that. Plus I have all the computer brains, the processing chips. I have a lot of those, and the motherboards that I'm gonna send those into a company that takes those and gives you a good price per pound for motherboards. So this is the kind of commodities like this, you know, if you, it's all, because who knows what's going to happen with our money right now. It's a guessing game of where that's all going to go. So it's always good to have some investments in something else. It's talk about diversify. I think I'm diversified. It's my diversity right here. So there's a lot. It looks like a lot of junk, but there's a lot of money right there. I mean, it's definitely a lot of junk too. Like these motors right here, for instance, those are all ready to go in, and I'm going to have more of those. That's why we're trying to get that compressor part, is for that motor. So then we'll get all the washing machine, all those motors. That's a washing machine motor right there. So all those washers got motors in them, and those all, there's a lot of weight in those things. They're good money for those things. They're a little difficult to get out. I'll do a washing machine video. And then there's dryers, but the dryer motors are quite a bit smaller, because all it has to do is turn that drum with not a big wet load of, you know, of wet laundry. So that's why there's powerful motors, you know. And then and also for just, you can like make quite a few things with that washing machine motor, because they're very powerful. There's a YouTube guy that makes like bandsaws and routers and all kinds of stuff with using washing machine motors. Anything you can do motor with, you can use that washing machine motor, because they're very strong. So if you're interested in that, you can tear apart your old washer, and you got that pretty nice motor. Because usually, most of the time, the motors on washing machines are not what go out. Almost always, just the mechanisms for pumping the water is what goes out, or the thing that connects the motor to your agitator, that kind of thing. That goes out. But 9% of the time is it's the pump, the water pump of some sort, or any kind of the fittings inside there, because it's all plastic garbage. So they break, and then that's that. It's like dryers. I just got these dryers, and that's like the most dryers I've gotten from one load, like 3 dryers, because they are break down far less than washing machines, way less. This one, it's a dryer, yeah, okay. But that's a dryer, that's a washer. And that's a washer, and those other ones, that one's a dryer right there. But yeah, that's a washer. The motors are never go out on our things. So if you want to get that and do a project with it, more than likely it's going to be fine, you know. So, and dryers, what happens mostly with those is either the heating element goes out, or the belt that turns the drum in the dryer, which is attached to a smaller type of motor. That belt will stretch out, and then it just spins. The dryer won't spin as well, and if you put like too much wet loads in there, and after a while it stretches and stretches and stretches, so the belt just stretched out, and then to use those motors are good too. So, and but the heating element will go out in those, you know, more than anything else. That's a heating element, because it's just it's like a hot water type heater element in it. Alright, I'm going to end the video here. I think it's good for now. We showed you how to take apart an old TV, and a little bit of economy talk, I guess.